Greetings, this is Our Money, the program on anti-corruption investigations, and I'm Dennis Bihus. We won't have any investigations. Today, I mean. We're past the middle of 2018, and we'll make a traditional summary of this year's work today. And we have a lot to talk about. As you may remember, a team of lawyers has been working with us for a year. After an investigation gets published, they take it, translate it from human into legalese, and file numerous reports to law enforcement agencies. Most often, they file them to NABU and the Prosecutor General's office, depending on the level of our people of interest. However, enough of them go to the police and the NACP as well. It would be a gross overstatement to say that legal support like this can solve all the problems. That's not true. We often get refused. Then we have to sue the law enforcers to make them open criminal proceedings. This may hint at their motivation to investigate the case afterward. But that's not important. Without the lawyers, nothing would have happened at all. But now they have opened 70 criminal proceedings, 70 official investigations, not journalistic ones. Let's talk about some of the stories which became full-fledged investigations throughout the past 6 months. Let's say that this is an answer to the popular critical sentiment, well, you've shown it, so what's next? Let's start with the flats for the National Guard. The Guard gave some land to a construction company, which had to give back a fraction of flats in the future building. But then the company changed its mind, and for some reason, the National Guard didn't care. The aristocrat apartment complex is almost finished. It's being built by Ukrba Development. The National Guard allowed it to be built on almost a hectare of its land and became the official employer. But what did the military get in exchange? Throughout the year, the National Guard has refused to disclose the contract with the construction company numerous times. A parliamentary inquiry got us a copy of the documents and an understanding of the reason for classifying them. Firstly, the National Guard, being the owner of the land, had to get 20% of the aristocratic apartments. This amounts to 50 apartments of a total area of more than 4,000 square meters and 30 parking spots. But in October 2016, Yuri Alorov, the commander of the National Guard, agrees to amend the contract. The construction company now has to give the military not 50, but 65 apartments, but in another place. 10 minutes through the forest and you're not in Kiev anymore. This is Borispilska Street, and to put it mildly, it's not really in the center of Kiev. Entertainment here includes a tank factory and a stroll to the metro. That's all. This is where the Obery apartment is located, where the National Guard's service people will live instead of Pechers district. Georgy Mohilny, a city planning expert, has been following schemes like this for a couple of years. He says it's evident that an exchange like this is not of equal worth. The difference amounts to $4 million. It is more than the price of all the apartments the National Guard has agreed to get instead. In short, the head of the National Guard has swapped $7.5 million worth of flats for $3.7 million worth of flats. That's one of the most ludicrous contracts I've ever seen. I haven't heard still about any consequences for Alorov. He's still the head of the National Guard, but 2 weeks after our story was published, NABU started an investigation. Well, a loss of $3.7 million is no joke, but the Defense Ministry was more interested in another case, which was also about flats. The Military Transport Service gave an entire block for a construction company to build housing, within the framework of Housing for the Military program. However, the military only got 3% of the flats. 10 25-story buildings will be constructed on the military's land. An entire block complete with a parking lot, barbecue zone, and a gym. 4,500 apartments will be built on 8 hectares of land. The military will get less than 3% of these. But General Mykola Malkov, head of Special Transport Service, sees things differently. Maybe he would have even given the land out for free, if only to not have to sweep it. I have only 100 people on the roster, and there are 14 damn hectares of land. Who's going to clean the grounds? The minister had instantly said that the contract must be revised, and the same month, NABU opened a case. The pessimist part of me must say that both reactions took place in April, and we've had no news since then. However, the optimist part of me has to say that this is a long process, and we may even talk about the results in our New Year's summary. At least the contract will be changed, I hope. After the investigation about the procurement of football fields by the Football Federation of Ukraine was published, the NACP announced that it would thoroughly check the declaration of the federation's head, Andrei Pavelko. The federation had organized procurement of artificial turf for football fields for the entire country, with the requirements favoring their own firm. We are grateful to our partners, sponsors, of course to UEFA and FIFA, that we were able to build our own production facility without spending state or credit money. The factory construction took almost €8 million, given by UEFA's hat-trick program. This money could have been used to cover more than 500 mini football fields with grass, but instead it was used to build a factory, and the turf for fields is being bought with state money from the same factory. Both the factory and the state procurement of artificial turf are directed by the same person, because Andrei Pavelko is both the Football Federation's president and the head of the budget committee of the Verkhovna Rada. We didn't rely on the program. Building the factory, we relied only on ourselves, on the demand from the local government. The facts state the opposite. The company founded by the Federation to build the factory didn't do anything in its first year, until the budget committee under Pavelko approved the allocation of state money for the procurement of turf. This was in June 2017. Only then the Federation's commercial offspring got a statutory fund, equivalent to €8 million. And the company started to bring the equipment necessary to build the factory. So they started building the factory with UEFA's money only when they were sure that it would have state contracts. Pavelko assures us that the factory was built to fight the monopolies on the artificial turf market. They divided Ukraine into 3 zones to distribute state procurement contracts. Then appears the state, let's say the civil organization, which openly participates in all the biddings. Of course they will engage in mudslinging. That's the market. With the appearance of the new player, the rules changed to its advantage. In fact, the new factory of the Federation is a branch of a German artificial turf manufacturer, Polytan. This is Polytan's equipment, but it got paid not only for that, and not only for the materials used to make the artificial turf, but it will also have a share of income for the usage of its brand name. On the eve of the factory's opening, the Ministry of Regional Development made a template for building artificial turf fields. The ministry's project points the commissioners to a particular type of artificial turf, locally produced Polytan's Liga Grass Pro. The factory's head has no clue how this coincidence could have happened. Maybe you should ask the template's developers about this. We got in touch with the project's developer. He said he didn't evaluate or compare the qualities of different turfs, but was only following his client's instructions. And he said his client wasn't even the ministry, but the Football Federation of Ukraine. The client who ordered this project represented the Football Federation, which caters to this factory. So that's what they ordered? Yes. They made it clear? Yes. Let me add that on our report efficiency rating, the NACP has the last place. If there was an even lower one, it would be there too. However, NABU got involved in this case as well. One of our biggest stories about the divvying up of lithium deposits all over Ukraine didn't only lead to a loud statement from Groisman about looking into and preventing, but also to a criminal case opened by the PGO on an attempt to seize subsoil resources in particularly large amounts. Proceedings were opened both against the firm, which got the permit to extract lithium, and the State Mineral Service officials, who facilitated the obtaining of a permit. Taras Inoshenko is not only interesting for his company, which had got a lithium extracting permit without having a license. This young and low-profile businessman is closely linked to much more famous people, to people who have the magnitude to sell off a third of the country's lithium. The person who is in the infinity is Inoshenko, but not Taras. It's his father, advisor to the Minister of Energy, Volodymyr Inoshenko. Under Yanukovych, Volodymyr Inoshenko was an advisor to the Minister of Ecology, Eduard Stavitsky. He was responsible for subsoil resources. He became an advisor to Ihor Nasalik in 2018. Inoshenko spends almost every day at the ministry on official and not very official business. Back in 2016, my colleagues cited Inoshenko at an airport with the president's business associate, MP Ihor Kononenko. They're even registered in neighboring flats. However, Kononenko doesn't like to speak about his neighbor's love for lithium. Does your circle plan on extracting lithium? I have nothing to do with it. Who is Volodymyr Inoshenko? Do you know him? What's your relationship? I've already answered this. The Inoshenkos are deeply integrated into the president's circle. While the senior is seen with Ihor Kononenko, the junior has deals with Ihor Khodkovsky, son of the first deputy secretary of the National Security and Defense Council, a business partner of Petro Poroshenko. Do you work as the minister's assistant? What does your son do? Excuse me, I'm not going to. Does he own the Petro Consulting Company? Please, spare us a minute. Mr. Volodymyr, why are you running away? Mr. Volodymyr, just a minute. What does your son do? Does he own a company? Did you help him get the special permit? Inoshenko's son got lucky. The Petro Consulting, which he leads, got a special permit for lithium extraction without any competition. I have my hopes high about this investigation because, frankly, the importance and potential harm of any of the stories about some cars or flats of some officials cannot be remotely compared to the prospect of losing mineral deposits all over the country. NABU has included our investigation in the case against the deputy head of the presidential administration. Alexei Filatov's declaration didn't mention his de facto wife. And that's not just a family matter, because Mrs. Babbage owns a law firm which almost became a monopolist in a very short time. Filatov's declaration says he is single and childless, but he has a 10-month-old son with the lawyer Anna Babbage. The doorkeeper of this building in Pechers district where Filatov lives immediately recognized the woman in the photo. Hello, tell me please, 40th apartment, Anna Babbage. I need to pass her some documents. Is this the right place? She's currently absent. I was given a photo. Can you say if that's her? Come in. Here, is that right? Yes. So we're at the right place, but she's not here? She's absent right now. So it seems that the deputy head of the presidential administration failed to declare his de facto wife and a newborn. You're de facto married to a partner of the Equo law firm Anna Babbage. Why didn't you declare this? I declare everything I have to declare according to the legislation. The legislation obliges one to declare one's family. Family members aren't only officially married people, but also those who aren't officially married but live together, have common rights and responsibilities.
Спільне господарство, мають спільні права та обов'язки, проживають спільно.
It's unlikely that the experienced lawyer Filatov didn't know he had to declare his family. There must be other motives to omit them. Together with Anna Babish herself, her place of work should have been declared as well. Maybe that's the problem? In 2014, Filatov exchanged the law firm for the presidential administration, becoming Loshkin's deputy. Anna Babish and her several co-workers also left the Vasil, Kisel and Partners. They created their own firm, Akko. This happened 2 days after Filatov got his new job. The new company instantly got a Naftogaz subcontract and started to consult the Anti-Monopoly Committee's clients. There's no chance I could recount it all. Our team of lawyers has filed 400 reports based on our and our colleagues' investigations. 75 of them led to criminal proceedings or changes in tender procedures. So I'll try to make it short. The PGO demands 8 years for the subject of our investigation on railway embezzlement. The investigation into the judge who hid his flats in the center of Kiev is over. Searches have finally begun on the case of a Radical Party MP's businesses. Tender worth a total of $1.5 million got canceled. Every 7th report filed by our lawyers, every 3rd story we air, turns into official investigations. And if you think that I'm telling you this just to brag, well, that's true, but it's also a nice opportunity to remind you that if you want to have similar results in your public or journalistic activities, you can contact our lawyers, regardless of where you are and who you are. We're cooperating with 50 organizations and activists all over the country. You're welcome to join. Let's add some fun.
Долучайтесь.
Every day, during every shooting of the program, the authors encounter what our subjects think are creative explanations, but we'll call them dumb excuses. Sometimes they get featured in the program, sometimes we just cut them out. However, today we'll be showing them exclusively. The attempts to send the journalist off. So, go ask Sadovi when he's going to clean up the garbage he's left all over Ukraine. There will be no answers to your questions. Go ask Sadovi. Go away. Ask Sadovi about the garbage. Go ask Sadovi when he's going to clean up the garbage he's left all over Ukraine. When Sadovi takes care of the garbage, when he'll clean up the garbage in Ukraine, don't show me what you're showing. When he'll clean up the garbage he's left all over Ukraine, you're politically motivated. Go ask Sadovi. Listen to the answer. I don't answer questions. When he'll clean up the garbage, when Sadovi, who finances your activities, will clean up the garbage, stop chasing me. Go to Sadovi. He's left all over Ukraine. Go to Sadovi and ask him a simple question. Go ask Sadovi so that you wouldn't breathe garbage. Didn't hear, didn't remember, didn't know, and forgot. Suits any topic. I don't have this information. Don't count other people's money. It's hard to tell. I don't understand what you're talking about. I won't say who, what, whom. I don't remember. I have amnesia. I don't know. It's all officially closed, officially. That's a personal question. We don't have to answer you. I don't have anything to do with it. Excuse me. I don't know. I don't remember. I have amnesia. I don't remember. I don't know who I'm seeing. Have a good day. That's my relatives, ask them. Use this excuse when you've registered around $500,000 worth of property for your relatives. She's your mother-in-law. Where did you get the property? I don't have anything to... A Maserati, $250,000 worth of land, a large house being built on the banks of the Dnipro. I don't meddle in my father-in-law's affairs. I'm not my sister. Mom gave me a ride. On which car? Mom gave me a ride in a Lexus. Who cares what I have? I have a lot of precious friends. He does drive, thank God. My parents rent this house. He was going to sell it and I told him to give it to me. I'd use it and take care of it, and he did. My mom has her personal life. That's his right. He doesn't have to answer you. If you're asked about a car that costs as much as 2 flats, you can try persuading the journalist that you've assembled the car with your own hands, out of an old bicycle, a barbecue grill, and duct tape. It's not a discount. The car was just broken. It was damaged. It was almost broken. The gearbox and the engine didn't run. When the investigation isn't about flats or cars, but about a completed job, say something like, "Someday we may see what comes out of it." We won't allow for monopolies on the market. How? Well, we'll see. You have to talk about plans less. You have to research it. Yeah, well, I vote on a lot of things, you know. Would be good if everyone did what they have to, but that's a fairy tale. Well, we'll see. You can just blabber some nonsense. When we met him, he suddenly changed his last name and insisted that he's Petrov now. Good day. Hello. Are you Viktor Zhuravlyov? No. No? I'm Viktor Petrov. You'll ask some shit as you always do, yeah? Do you want to dig up some dirt on me? This Russian mafia uses corrupt journalists. I have hypertension. Sometimes I get smeared by the media. Don't you have things to do? And the best thing you can do is just run away. It's best to be in good shape and plan the escape route ahead. Did you exercise your right to buy out your share of the UNL? Please, talk to me. I told you it all. No. We have questions we want you to answer. I'm so fed up with you. We really want you to answer our questions. Is the charitable foundation Rozbudova? Tell me, please, is he... I'm so fed up with you. Do you know him? No, I don't. Why are you being silent? Mr. Anatoly, would you stop for a second? I've hit my limit. I'm running late. I don't understand why you behave like that. Hello, Mr. Ihor. You told us about a single bodyguard yesterday, but now we can see two. How so? You're seeing things. I think that this question doesn't make any sense. That's all for today. Watch our YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and now even Instagram. If you have an interesting topic, or if you want to ask our lawyers for help, write us an email. See you on air in a week. This was Our Money, and I'm Bihus. Goodbye.